The sea, one of the most remarkable and essential features of our planet. Covering more than 70% of the Earth's surface, seas are vast bodies of salt water that play a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate, supporting biodiversity, and sustaining human life. Unlike oceans, which are immense and largely continuous bodies of water, seas are often partially enclosed by land, creating unique ecosystems and environments. Throughout history, seas have been vital to human civilization, serving as highways for trade, sources of food, and centers of cultural exchange. They are not just geographical features, they are living systems, rich with life and influence. The term sea is sometimes used interchangeably with ocean, but there are important distinctions. Scientifically, a sea is smaller than an ocean and is usually more enclosed by land. Some seas are almost completely surrounded by land, like the Caspian Sea, which is often classified as the world's largest inland sea. Others, such as the Sargasso Sea in the Atlantic Ocean, are less defined by physical boundaries and more by ocean currents and ecological characteristics. In addition to their physical definitions, seas are classified by their location and interaction with continents. Marginal seas are located along continental edges, receiving rivers and streams and often serving as shallow extensions of oceans. Mediterranean seas are almost entirely enclosed, with limited connections to larger oceans, creating unique conditions for salinity, currents, and marine life. Inland seas are rare and entirely landlocked, yet they can rival smaller oceans in size and ecological significance. Open seas, by contrast, are vast stretches of water not enclosed by land, connected to the global ocean system and influenced primarily by currents and wind patterns. These variations in location and classification highlight the diversity of seas around the world and their complex interactions with the environment and human society. Seas are fascinating not only for their ecological significance but also for their cultural, economic, and climatic importance. They provide habitats for millions of species, ranging from microscopic plankton to enormous whales, forming the foundation of complex food webs. They support economic activities such as fisheries, shipping, and tourism, making them indispensable to human life. The role of seas in regulating climate cannot be overstated. They store and distribute solar energy, influence rainfall patterns, and moderate temperatures across continents. Historically, seas have been central to the development of civilizations. The Mediterranean Sea, for instance, was the cradle of ancient Greek, Roman, and Egyptian societies, while the Red Sea and Arabian Sea facilitated trade and cultural exchange between Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The interplay between human activity and the natural environment of seas has shaped the course of history, underscoring their enduring significance. The size of seas varies dramatically, influencing their ecological and economic characteristics. The Caspian Sea, often considered the largest inland sea in the world, covers approximately 371,000 square kilometers. It supports a range of unique species, including the Caspian sturgeon, which is prized for its caviar. In contrast, the Mediterranean Sea spans about 2.5 million square kilometers, linking 3 continents and providing a corridor for trade, migration, and cultural exchange for thousands of years. The Caribbean Sea, roughly 2.7 million square kilometers in area, is renowned for its biodiversity and the beauty of its coral reefs, attracting tourists from around the globe. Even smaller seas, such as the Baltic Sea, which covers approximately 377,000 square kilometers, play critical roles in regional economies and ecosystems, particularly because of their brackish waters and the unique species adapted to them. The immense variation in size among seas affects not only their ecological complexity but also the degree to which they are influenced by human activity and environmental change. Each sea carries a distinct identity, often reflected in its name, history, and geographical context. The Mediterranean Sea, positioned between Europe, Africa, and Asia, has long been a symbol of cultural exchange and maritime innovation. The Red Sea, lying between northeastern Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, is renowned for its coral reefs and unique marine biodiversity. The Black Sea, bordered by Eastern Europe and Western Asia, is connected to the Mediterranean through the Bosporus Strait and has historically served as a strategic trade route. The Arabian Sea, part of the larger Indian Ocean, is essential for shipping and has been a hub of trade for centuries. The Caribbean Sea, with its scattered islands, crystal clear waters, and vibrant ecosystems, continues to be both an economic and ecological treasure. Other seas, such as the South China Sea, have gained attention in modern times not only for their natural resources but also for geopolitical significance. Each of these seas contributes uniquely to the planet's environmental and cultural richness, illustrating the diverse roles that seas play in human and natural systems. Seas have numerous uses that make them indispensable to human societies. They are one of the most important sources of food, supplying millions of people with protein-rich diets through fisheries. Species such as tuna, cod, shrimp, and mackerel are harvested in vast quantities, supporting both local communities and global markets. Beyond food production, seas serve as natural highways, enabling transportation and trade across continents. For centuries, civilizations have relied on seas to connect distant regions, facilitate commerce, and enable cultural exchange. Tourism and recreation further underscore the economic value of seas, as coastal resorts, diving spots, and cruise destinations attract millions of visitors every year. In addition to these economic functions, seas provide critical environmental services. They absorb carbon dioxide, store solar energy, and regulate global weather systems. Coastal wetlands, mangroves, and seagrass beds serve as natural buffers, protecting communities from storms, erosion, and flooding. Human societies have long depended on the resources and services provided by seas, highlighting the intertwined relationship between nature and civilization. However, the environmental impact of human activity on seas has become increasingly concerning. Pollution from industrial discharge, agricultural runoff, and plastic waste contaminates marine ecosystems, threatening both marine life and human health. Oil spills can cause catastrophic damage, killing fish, birds, and mammals while disrupting local economies dependent on fisheries and tourism. Overfishing has emerged as another critical challenge, depleting key species and destabilizing food webs. Unsustainable fishing practices, such as bottom trawling, not only reduce fish populations but also destroy marine habitats. Climate change further exacerbates the challenges facing seas. Rising global temperatures influence sea levels, ocean currents, and marine biodiversity. Coral bleaching, melting polar ice, and shifts in rainfall patterns are all direct consequences of climate change, affecting ecosystems and human communities alike. Habitat destruction from coastal development, dredging, and seabed mining has further altered marine environments, while invasive species introduced through shipping and aquaculture disrupt ecological balance. In addition, seas are often arenas for political and territorial disputes, particularly where resources such as oil, natural gas, and strategic shipping routes are at stake. The South China Sea, for example, is a region of ongoing geopolitical tension due to its economic and strategic importance. These combined challenges highlight the urgent need for international cooperation and sustainable management of marine resources. Geographically, seas occupy diverse environments across the planet. Some are located along continental margins, such as the North Sea and the Bering Sea, receiving fresh water from rivers and experiencing shallow depths that support rich ecosystems. Tropical seas, like the Caribbean and coral seas, are warm and rich in biodiversity, hosting extensive coral reef systems that provide habitats for thousands of marine species. Polar seas, including the Barents and Ross Seas, are cold and ice-dominated, with unique species adapted to extreme conditions. Landlocked seas, such as the Caspian and Aral Seas, are entirely surrounded by land and often have limited exchange with larger oceans, creating unique ecological and chemical characteristics. The geography of a sea influences its climate, biodiversity, and the livelihoods of communities living along its shores. Fertile coastal plains, abundant fisheries, and navigable waters make seas essential for agriculture, transportation, and commerce. The interconnectedness of seas with rivers, oceans, and atmospheric systems underscores their role in maintaining global environmental balance. Despite their immense importance, seas face a host of contemporary challenges. Pollution, including plastic waste and chemical contaminants, is now pervasive even in the most remote oceanic trenches, posing a threat to marine life and humans alike. Overexploitation of fisheries and mineral resources has altered the balance of marine ecosystems, while climate change leads to rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and the destruction of coral reefs. Invasive species introduced through human activity disrupt ecological networks, threatening native species and livelihoods dependent on fisheries. Additionally, territorial disputes in resource-rich seas pose political risks and complicate conservation efforts. Addressing these challenges requires international cooperation, sustainable management practices, and public awareness about the critical importance of seas. Protecting seas is not only an environmental imperative but also a social, economic, and cultural necessity. Seas are vital to the continued well-being of the planet and its inhabitants. They provide essential resources, regulate climate, support biodiversity, and serve as hubs of human activity. From the vast Mediterranean and Caribbean seas to the landlocked Caspian Sea, each body of water possesses unique characteristics and challenges. While human societies have long relied on seas for survival and prosperity, modern pressures threaten their health and sustainability. Pollution, overfishing, climate change, and geopolitical tensions illustrate the complex interplay between humans and the marine environment. Preserving seas for future generations requires careful stewardship, scientific research, and global cooperation. By understanding the ecological, geographical, and cultural significance of seas, humanity can appreciate their value and work toward their conservation, ensuring that these magnificent bodies of water continue to sustain life and civilization for centuries to come. Seas are one of the most remarkable features of our planet, covering vast portions of the Earth's surface and playing a critical role in sustaining life. Although often confused with oceans, seas are smaller and usually partially enclosed by land. They are connected to oceans, allowing water, nutrients, and marine life to flow between them, yet each sea maintains unique characteristics in terms of temperature, salinity, and ecosystems. Seas have shaped human civilization for thousands of years, providing routes for exploration, trade, and cultural exchange, while also supporting an extraordinary diversity of life both above and below the water. The size of seas varies greatly. Some, like the Mediterranean Sea, span millions of square kilometers, while others, such as the Red Sea or the Sea of Marmara, are much smaller. The Caspian Sea, though often referred to as a sea, is technically the largest enclosed inland body of water on Earth, covering approximately 371,000 square kilometers. Many seas, particularly those near continents, are shallower than oceans, with depths ranging from a few dozen meters in marginal seas to over 1,000 meters in tropical or deep seas. These differences in depth, coupled with varying amounts of freshwater input from rivers, create unique environments for marine organisms. Seas are named in many ways, often reflecting geography, cultural significance, or history. The Mediterranean Sea, meaning middle of the land, connects Europe, Africa, and Asia and has been central to trade and cultural exchange for centuries. The Caribbean Sea, famous for its turquoise waters and coral reefs, supports a rich ecosystem that sustains local fisheries and tourism. The South China Sea is one of the busiest shipping routes in the world and contains abundant natural resources, including fish stocks and undersea oil and gas. Other seas, such as the Baltic and the Red Sea, are noted for their distinct ecological or historical characteristics, including brackish water conditions or extensive coral reefs. Seas provide numerous uses to humans. They are vital for maritime trade, connecting distant countries and continents while serving as corridors for shipping and transportation. Millions of people rely on seas for fishing, which is a major source of protein globally. Coastal regions attract tourists, offering opportunities for recreation, diving, and adventure sports, which contribute significantly to local economies. In addition to these human uses, seas play an essential role in the environment. They host rich and diverse ecosystems, including coral reefs, mangroves, and seagrass beds, which support countless species. Seas also regulate the global climate by absorbing heat and carbon dioxide, influencing weather patterns, and contributing to the water cycle through evaporation and precipitation. The impact of seas extends far beyond economics and ecology. Environmentally, they help moderate temperatures and support biodiversity, acting as carbon sinks that reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Culturally, seas have influenced the growth of civilizations, trade routes, and cultural exchanges throughout history. Economically, seas sustain livelihoods, from fishing communities to tourism-dependent regions. Some seas also directly influence local climates. For example, the Mediterranean Sea moderates temperatures across southern Europe, while the South China Sea plays a key role in Asian monsoon patterns. The geography of seas is highly varied. Some, known as marginal seas, are located along the edges of continents and are connected to larger oceans, such as the North Sea or the Bering Sea. Others, such as the Caspian Sea, are largely enclosed and receive water primarily from rivers. Some seas are semi-enclosed and connected to oceans through narrow straits, like the Mediterranean Sea. Tropical and coral-rich seas, such as the Caribbean and the Coral Sea, support vibrant marine life and are critical habitats for numerous species. Salinity, tidal patterns, and temperatures can vary widely from one sea to another, depending on factors such as ocean currents, river inflow, and proximity to land. Despite their importance, seas face serious challenges due to human activities and environmental changes. Pollution from plastics, chemicals, and oil spills threatens marine ecosystems and human health. Overfishing has depleted fish populations in many seas, upsetting the balance of marine food webs. Climate change is causing rising sea levels, ocean acidification, and warming waters, all of which endanger marine habitats and coastal communities. Habitat destruction through coastal development, dredging, and coral reef damage further stresses marine ecosystems. Additionally, many seas are the focus of geopolitical disputes, particularly those rich in resources, such as the South China Sea. Protecting seas requires global cooperation, sustainable management of fisheries and tourism, pollution control, and climate action to ensure their health for future generations. Seas are home to extraordinary natural phenomena. Some seas, like the Red Sea, are famous for extensive coral reefs, while others, such as the Dead Sea, have extremely high salt concentrations that prevent most life from surviving in them. Certain seas experience unique tidal and current patterns that influence navigation and marine life. Seas also store massive amounts of energy in the form of waves, tides, and currents, which can be harnessed for renewable energy production. Moreover, seas are often sites of natural beauty, attracting millions of visitors for their pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, and vibrant underwater ecosystems. A sea is a large body of salt water. There are particular seas and the sea. The sea commonly refers to the ocean, the interconnected body of sea waters that spans most of Earth. Particular seas are either marginal seas, second-order sections of the oceanic sea, e.g. the Mediterranean Sea, or certain large, nearly landlocked bodies of water. The salinity of water bodies varies widely, being lower near the surface and the mouths of large rivers and higher in the depths of the ocean. However, the relative proportions of dissolved salts vary little across the oceans. The most abundant solid dissolved in seawater is sodium chloride. The water also contains salts of magnesium, calcium, potassium, and mercury, among other elements, some in minute concentrations. A wide variety of organisms, including bacteria, protists, algae, plants, fungi, and animals live in various marine habitats and ecosystems throughout the seas. These range vertically from the sunlit surface and shoreline to the great depths and pressures of the cold, dark abyssal zone, and in latitude from the cold waters under polar ice caps to the warm waters of coral reefs in tropical regions. Many of the major groups of organisms evolved in the sea, and life may have started there. The ocean moderates Earth's climate and has important roles in the water, carbon, and nitrogen cycles. The surface of the water interacts with the atmosphere, exchanging properties such as particles and temperature, as well as currents. Surface currents are the water currents that are produced by the atmosphere's currents and its winds blowing over the surface of the water, producing wind waves, setting up through drag slow but stable circulations of water, as in the case of the ocean, sustaining deep-sea ocean currents. Deep-sea currents, known together as the global conveyor belt, carry cold water from near the poles to every ocean and significantly influence Earth's climate. Tides, the generally twice daily rise and fall of sea levels, are caused by Earth's rotation and the gravitational effects of the Moon and, to a lesser extent, of the Sun. Tides may have a very high range in bays or estuaries. Submarine earthquakes arising from tectonic plate movements under the oceans can lead to destructive tsunamis, as can volcanoes, huge landslides, or the impact of large meteorites. The seas have been an integral element for humans throughout history and culture. Humans harnessing and studying the seas have been recorded since ancient times and evidenced well into prehistory, while its modern scientific study is called oceanography, and maritime space is governed by the law of the sea, with admiralty law regulating human interactions at sea. The seas provide substantial supplies of food for humans, mainly fish, but also shellfish, mammals, and seaweed, whether caught by fishermen or farmed underwater. Other human uses of the seas include trade, travel, mineral extraction, power generation, warfare, and leisure activities such as swimming, sailing, and scuba diving. Many of these activities create marine pollution. Sea level refers to the average height of the ocean's surface, used as a standard reference point for measuring elevation and depth on Earth. It is not constant but fluctuates over time and across locations due to tides, atmospheric pressure, ocean currents, and long-term climate changes. Scientists often refer to mean sea level, MSL, which is the average sea height measured over a long period, typically 19 years, to account for natural variations caused by tides and weather. Sea level is a crucial benchmark in geography, navigation, and construction. Elevations of mountains, landforms, and human-made structures are often measured relative to sea level. For example, the height of Mount Everest is expressed as its height above sea level. Similarly, ocean depths, such as the Mariana Trench, are measured as distance below sea level. Global sea levels are influenced by factors like the melting of glaciers and polar ice sheets, thermal expansion of seawater due to warming, and changes in ocean currents. Rising sea levels due to climate change pose risks such as coastal flooding, erosion, and saltwater intrusion into freshwater supplies. Scientists use satellites, tide gauges, and GPS measurements to monitor sea level changes and predict future trends. The term sea and ocean are often used interchangeably, but they refer to different bodies of water in terms of size, depth, and location. Oceans are vast, covering about 71% of the Earth's surface. They are much larger and deeper than seas. For example, the Pacific Ocean reaches over 10,900 meters at its deepest point, while seas are shallower and smaller, such as the Mediterranean Sea. Oceans are large, continuous bodies of salt water that are not confined by land. The 5 major oceans are the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic. Seas, in contrast, are often connected to oceans but are partly enclosed by land. Examples include the Red Sea, the Caribbean Sea, and the Black Sea. Salinity in oceans is fairly uniform, averaging around 3.5%, and their vastness supports a wide variety of marine life. Seas can have very different levels of salinity due to freshwater inflows from rivers. Some, like the Dead Sea, are extremely salty. The shallower waters and proximity to land make seas home to unique ecosystems. Oceans play a crucial role in regulating the global climate and supporting international trade and transportation, while seas are more accessible for humans and support fishing, tourism, and regional shipping. Many seas also hold cultural and historical importance for the regions surrounding them. In summary, oceans are larger, deeper, and open, whereas seas are smaller, shallower, and usually partially enclosed by land. Both are essential for life, climate, and human activities, but their size, depth, and location distinguish them from each other. In conclusion, seas are vital to life on Earth, influencing climate, supporting biodiversity, providing food and economic opportunities, and shaping human culture and history. Each sea has its own unique features, from its size and depth to its ecosystems and cultural significance. However, they face growing threats from human activities and climate change, highlighting the need for responsible stewardship and sustainable use. Understanding seas, appreciating their importance, and protecting their health are essential steps to ensure that they continue to benefit both the natural world and human societies for generations to come. Thank you for watching this video.